Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Revan and in this video I am going to show you how to create codes for unsupported games for the program Xfire. Before I start, there's one thing that you should know. You can add every program on your computer to Xfire, but there's never a guarantee that Xfire in-game will work. So let's start with the video. First, you need to open your Xfire games ini, go to your Xfire program, then go to Files, Pages, make a right click and click on Open Directory, then go folder up. Here you can see the Xfire games ini. As always, first make a backup before you do anything with this file, because you will be happy to have such a backup if something goes wrong. Now open it and scroll down until you reach the end of the file. So when you write a new code, you have to give it a number. Always choose a number that is not already used by another game. So in my case, the next game would have the number 10,025, but I will show you how to create a code with one that I already created in the past. So I will go to the number 9080, which I deleted here to show you how to create such a code. So here it is. What I do first is to write down the number of my new code. As I said, in this case it will be 9080. Then I usually write down who created the code. So if you have codes that are unchanged from the original Xfire games you see if you edited those codes or not. Then you have write down the game name. To do that, write long name and then the name of the game. I will add the game Thunder Brigade here. Then write down short name. This is not important anymore. It was important when the Xfire online services still worked, but now you can write down some random letters and check if they aren't already in the Xfire games by using the search function again by pressing Ctrl and F on your keyboard. And in my case, you see TBDE was not already there, so let's continue. The next line that we need to write is the path where the game is located in the registry. So we have to write down launcher dir key and then open the start menu and type in rec edit. Open the rec edit exe. And now we are in the registry editor. One thing first, never change anything within the regedit exe, because your computer probably won't like those changes. So just use the registry editor only to get information, unless you are completely aware of what you are doing. Now press Ctrl and F on your keyboard. This opens the search window and type in the name of your game. In my case it's Thunder Brigade, and what do we have here? folder with some files named after Thunder Brigade, but what we are searching is the path where the game is installed on your computer. So I will do this again, press Ctrl and F and search again for Thunder Brigade and see if there is something else on my computer. So here aren't any paths at all. So I will continue to search, and what do we have here? That looks good. We have a path file. And yeah, that's the right path. My game is installed at the Programme Thunder Brigade. So what you have to do now is to write down the path of this registry entry. So it's computer, H key, users, and then a lot of numbers. I'm going to cheat here a little bit and to copy this path out of the original code, which I have saved in a separate file. But you can see that it is the same path as shown in the registry editor. So let's check that. No, it's not the same path. So I might have used another file within the registry editor. So let's see where I got this path from. So we have software, I might check Thunder Brigade. So let's go a little bit down in the registry editor, and yeah, there is it, the Thunder Brigade folder. This is where I've got the path from. So normally you only have one path per game, but in this case, yeah, that's a little bit strange. I have several path files, so the path that you saw first would also work. This means if you also have a game with several path files within the registry editor, just choose one of them, it will work. Now Xfire knows where to search for the game, and yeah, what we have to do next is to give it the exe of the game. So I write down launcher exe, and yeah, how do you get your launcher exe? You go to the folder where you have your game installed, or if you have a shortcut of your game, as in my case. So I go to my shortcut folder of games and search for Thunder Brigade. Then make a right click on Thunder Brigade and open the path. Yeah, and here is the exe of Thunder Brigade, which is named T Brigade. So I copy the name of the exe into the Xfire games ini and write down .exe. Now I don't need the registry editor anymore, so I will close it. Now comes the only part that I can't explain, because I don't know why this line is needed, but it is sure that it is needed, because if you don't use it, your code won't work. So just copy the line out of another code and insert it beneath the launcher exe. What we have done so far is to give Xfire the location of our game, and now we want to make Xfire in-game to work. So we have to write down in-game renderer. This in-game renderer is different for every game. So in my case it is Direct Draw 2, and then we have to set the in-game flags. The in-game flags are some kind of modifier to the in-game renderer. I have a file where I have wrote down the in-game flags and in-game renderers that encountered me so far. So what you see here is not a final file. I will upload this final file as an article at moddb, so you can see which in-game renderers and in-game flags are available. There is one combination that works very good with a lot of games. So this combination is enable mouse. Enable mouse is needed for the extended Xfire in-game overlay, because if you don't have this in-game flag in your code, you will get the old version of the Xfire in-game overlay. Then you should add use direct input mouse. My next in-game flag is new input system. I will just copy this out of my file, because new input system wasn't used by any of the surrounding codes of my new Thunder Brigade code. So yeah, that's the fastest way to copy it for me. And the last in-game flag, which I usually use for new code, is use direct input 1. So I copy this again. Basically the code is done now. Close the Xfire Games ini and save your changes. Restart Xfire. And then open the Xfire ini, which is located in the same folder as the Xfire Games ini. Here you can see all the games that are detected by Xfire on your computer. So press Ctrl and F on your keyboard and type in the number of the game. My game has the number 9080. So I search and yeah, there is it. This means Xfire has detected Thunder Brigade. Now you have to start your game and test if Xfire in-game works. If it doesn't work, use another in-game renderer or change the in-game flags. Sometimes it won't work at all, but usually if the in-game renderer is set right, the game at least shows some kind of reaction to Xfire. Now I'm going to show you some special lines. First we have Steam games. So codes for games which you bought at Steam are a little bit different than the normal code. I used the code for Man of War Red Tide to explain what's different with Steam codes. I recommend just copying code of another Steam game if you want to add your own Steam game, and then make the following changes. So first change the detect exe. This is the exe of your game, just as the T Brigade exe in my previous example. Then change the long name to the name of your game. Also think up a short name for the game, which does not already exist. And then change the detect dir key. The good thing about the Steam registry entries is that Steam is very consistent with those entries. So you can just go to a shortcut of your Steam game, make a right click and go to properties. And yeah, there you will see the app number of your game. So just copy this number and replace it with the one in the code. Also do this with the launch line. There is an app launch part within this line, and you have to change the number there also. Of course, don't forget to change the in-game renderer or in-game flags if you think that they won't work with your game. And yeah, but basically that's the secret behind the Steam codes. And now I will continue with the codes for GOG games. For this example, I will use the code for Star Wars X-Wing vs TIE Fighter Balance of Power. The only thing that is special with the GOG codes is the registry path of your games. Since the introduction of GOG Galaxy, GOG changed all the registry paths to a similar system like Steam. Steam does have its Steam apps, and GOG does also have a number for every game now. That's important to know because almost all the GOG game paths within the registry editor can now be found within the same folder as all the other GOG games. This folder is located at HKey local machine software WOW 6432 Node Microsoft Windows current version uninstall. One last thing that you should know is that if you write your own code, I recommend using the in-game renderer and in-game flags of another game for your code, which does have similar technical properties. So if you have an old game, just use the in-game render and in-game flags from another old game. If you have a new game, do the same thing with another new game. Basically that's all, and I think this will be the last Xfire related video for a long time, because I told you everything that I know about Xfire. So yeah, I hope you have success with creating your own codes, and please, if you do so, join the Xfire modding group to share your codes through the Word file which I upload at ModDB, so that even the people who don't want to learn how to write codes for unsupported games can profit from your work. I'm going to destroy some hover tanks in Thunder Brigade now, so have a nice day.